So now I'm going to get into the schedule. I'm gonna ask about a few games in the schedule, and then last but not least, I'm gonna ask you your predictions for the win-loss record. So first game of the season, you play the reigning NFC champions in the in the Philadelphia Eagles.
Bring them.
They lost some key players on defense last year, with Javon Hargrave, of course, coming to my San Francisco 49ers. And then you got CJ Garner Johnson leaving and going to the Detroit Lions, and a few other defensive guys that they lost. But they gained some guys as well in the draft. They got Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith and Keely Ringo, all from University of Georgia. As Tony would call them, the Philadelphia Bulldogs.
That's what I
That's
call
what he would call them.
Seriously.
Now I know it's the very first game, and you never really can predict what's going to happen. But most people are automatically going to pick the Eagles to win that game. But Teddy, I know you feel a little bit different about that. So Teddy, what's your prediction for that first game, and do you think you guys can come out with the win?
So, if you guys didn't know, this guy getting his number retired on that day. So there might be some magic in the air. So I'm going to predict a W for the Pats. Week one.
What would if I know I know it's early, but what would your score be?
Ooh. Um, 31-24.
It's a high scoring game.
Yeah.
It's a competitive game as well. I can't wait to see it.
Telling you.
I can't wait to see it. If everyone watch it right now, first of all, make sure you like, share, subscribe. But if you're watching right now, and if you're new to this network, you might not know, but the Eagles are the most hated team in the chat right now, and that's the one team that everybody's aiming for. That we want to make sure that they lose some big games next season. So I'm actually, I don't root for the Patriots a lot, but I'll be rooting for you guys in that game. Telling you that right now. Now, Tony, I'm gonna come to you next. What are your predictions for the game, and are you expecting the W?
All right. So if they're getting safeties like they did last night, um, giving up safeties 2 points and stuff like that. Anyway, um, uh, yeah, I don't. So I'm a realist, right? And I look at each one of the games, and I'm like, all right, what's going to happen in this game? The one thing they're not going to be able to do is run on us. Okay, I know that already. Uh, unless Jalen does it, their running backs aren't going to be able to run on us. I know that. All right, so that takes us to their receivers. Is are we know what AJ's going to do, right? But is he that good that he disrupts the entire defense? And I say no, right? I say no. Now they did have the best offensive line last year, right? But they had some issues when they went up against an athletic defense like Kansas City was. They eventually started having some issues. He threw the ball on them well, but they really had some issues up front with him. Um, so I see us winning the game, right? I see us winning the game, and one reason why I see us winning this game is because one person,
Say it.
and that's that guy.
You have been zapped.
It's that guy wearing the number 1-5. The guy wearing the 1 and the 5. Expect to see a little bit of this that night. So you're gonna see some of that night, because first of all, he hates the Eagles. That's the first thing, right? He hates the Eagles. He enjoyed playing against them because he wanted to go and do this all the time in their stadium. Um, the second reason why I say that is because Matt's going to throw for 300 yards that game because they have no secondary. Right? Their secondary isn't that good. Everyone thinks they are, but they're not that good.
Mm.
Accusations false.
And
Even
and the
with
one thing
even
that
with
they're
Darius Slay back there.
even with Darius Slay back there. I don't think so I think Darius Slay is overhyped. I think he's an above average cornerback, but I don't think he's an elite cornerback. I don't think he is, right? I think he can get beat on double moves a lot. I think both cornerbacks get beat on double moves a lot. And what does Bill O'Brien do? He goes and throws short passes, and then all of a sudden it's bam, bam, and he's gone. That's what was going on in Alabama with those receivers. And now we don't have that caliber of receivers in there, but Orton can get down the field now. Okay, he can get down the field.
Kendrick Bourne can get down there too.
Bourne can get down the field. So this is why I say that, and then the tight ends are going to occupy the middle of the field with the safety. So what they're going to be out there on the island by themselves. And last time I knew, the dude who had an island just put a yellow jacket on. So I don't think that they're going to be able to do anything. So I see the score for this game being something like 27-13. I don't think they're going to put up 20 points on it.
Oh, I was not expecting that.
Wow. I don't see them putting up 20 points. I don't see them repeating what they did last year.
You're expecting a 2-touchdown win first game of the season? Wow.
I think worse, but I think actually worse in my head. I'm just going to go and lowball it. Right?
Oh, that low ball, that's 2 touchdowns. That ain't low ball.
That was lowballing it because I actually said in my head was 38-13. But
You sure about that?
But but I just don't see how they repeat what they did last year. I see AJ Brown being like spectacular, he was, but I see your man going across the other one going across the middle and jumping in the air like he did last year and getting blessed. Because we got a couple of safeties back there that love nothing but to hit people.
Bing bang.
Tomo, you got 2. You got 2.
So that's how I see the game.
All right. So now I'm gonna ask about a specific division that you're going up against this season, and the Eagles are a part of that division. What are your expectations for your record against this division? Do you see a loss to any team in that division? Tony, I'm going to you first. So you play the Eagles first at home, then you play the Cowboys October 1st in Cowboy Stadium. Then you go ahead and play the Commanders at home November 5th. And then 2 weeks after that, you play the Giants on November 26th. Well, I actually think there's 3 weeks. I think you have a bye in between that. So, yeah, what are your expectations, Tony? How are you expecting you guys to go against the NFC East this year? Who actually had three teams in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say that we won't sweep that side there, that division. The only team that I really think that we're going to really have issues with is probably going to be Dallas. And the only reason why I say that is because of how their defense is. Their defense is going to keep them in a lot of games. And then their receivers they got receivers that can probably give our secondary some issues. So I can see that being a tough game like it was last year. Was it last year or the year before? I think it was last year.
The year before, yeah, it was
Year before that, right? Was it last year or the year before last?
Nah,
I think that was Mac Jones' rookie season.
Rookie season.
Yeah.
And we almost came back. Yeah, matter of fact, you're right. And we almost they came back and beat us. That I can see a game like that. I can see a game playing out like that in a nutshell. But I don't see the Giants beating us because, well, they got Daniel Jones at quarterback, and then
some people think he's actually better than what he's been. You know, some people give him credit for what the Giants did last.
Here's what I would say: he has been better than what he was, but he's still not good. Anyway, he's still not good. No, he's not good. And I'll never forget the fact that he tripped in the middle of the field on his own. But so I can see that the Commanders. The Commanders' defense can also give us issues, but they're not going to be able to score. So I don't know how they're going to score in a nutshell, especially, and then they're going to be in Foxborough too. So I don't know how that Sam's going to have issues with that crowd there, and maybe the largest. We got the largest jumbo screen in America in the stadium now too. That's going to blind them probably. But no, but I can see us going 3-1. I can really see us sweeping that division, but I can see us going 3-1, and the Cowboys being the team that's going to give us the most issues.
Teddy?
I see us sweeping it. With the only game that's being close is the first game of the season with the Eagles. Commanders, basically a rookie quarterback, and you know what happens when rookies go against Bill. It's never a good thing.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, just one time, but the Giants, no, they're just not it. Cowboys, I'm sorry, but they're not it either. Yep. Do that all you want, Tomo, but take notes. Take notes, Joe. Take notes. I already told you in the preview that was the one game that I was looking forward to just for the trash talk. And we got no Giants fans in the chat.
I mean, we do. They're just not active.
Okay. And I'm glad that they're not, because they they got our number. But yeah, I see us sweeping the division, and the only tough game being the Eagles' first game.
Stop it. Get some help.
For those who don't know about the record that Teddy was speaking of, Bill Belichick is 21-6 against rookie quarterbacks. He's only lost 6 his entire career. This is since he took over the team in the year 2000. And they're a perfect 13-0 at home against rookie quarterbacks. So that's what he's talking about. Now we're going to get into the win-loss record. Teddy, I'm going to you first. What do you expect your win-loss record to be, and how far do you see your team reaching this season?
11-6 with I'm gonna say a second round exit.
Okay, so you're expecting at least a wild card win.
Yeah.
Okay. Tony, what's your expectations for the record this year, and how far do you think you guys go?
Yes, he is, Joe. So I see the same thing, 11-6, right? I see it on 11-6, and I see us depending on, so this is going to depend on how well the offense catches up with the defense. Defense is going to start out really strong, right? But that defense had the tendency, because the offense was playing the way they played, that defense had the tendency to like kind of fade off at the end of the year. That defense is still playing strong at the end of the year. I can see them making. I can see them making it to the second round, and even possibly to the championship game with that defense. Right now, I don't see them winning the championship game. Right, I'm not predicting them going to a Super Bowl or anything like that, but I can see that happening. But it's going to depend on injuries. It's going to depend on how well that offense comes together. It's going to depend on a lot of different entities within there. But 11-6 is what I really see in there. I don't see us losing to the Colts, because that's another rookie quarterback. The Raiders got too many doggone issues over there. The Saints may be an issue or something like that, but once you get Derek Carr's feet moving like we're going to do, he throws the ball anywhere he wants to throw the ball at. The Chargers may be an issue. The Steelers aren't going to be an issue. So I can see it. The Chiefs, so that's going to be my game right there. When they play the Chiefs at home, all right, that's the game where I'm going to be like, all right, are we ready? All right, I don't really care about Buffalo. Buffalo's going to, each one of those games in that division is going to be a knockdown, a drag out type game, right? But
Mhm.
when we play the Chiefs, how are we going to play against the Chiefs? If we play against the Chiefs and it's close, I got that as one of our losses, but if we if we play them close to where we're in the game and we have the possibility of winning, then they're going to probably make it further than most people think they're going to make it. But I say a second round exit is probably where they're going to go.
All right, and I got one last question to ask, um, and it's going to be, what awards do you think any of your players will win this year? Do you see a comeback player of the year award, maybe? Um, I'm gonna ask this question just because MVP possibly. Do you see offensive rookie of the year, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year? Do you see anybody in your team getting an award this year? Who and what award? Tony, I'm going with you first.
Now I can really see us. I can see Gonzalez or wow, what's his name?
Keon
Oh,
White.
yeah, yeah,
Keon
Keon.
White.
I can see either one of those two getting defensive rookie of the year. Right, I can see that happening. Um, I can possibly see Judon getting defensive player of the year. Right, I can see him getting that because of what's going to happen on the other side. It's going to free him up to do a lot of things. Um,
For
I'm
everyone that doesn't know, the Patriots were second in sacks as a team last year, so he has some facts to go along with that.
So the other thing that I can see is, and this is going to be crazy because everybody thinks he's, this guy's, butt is burning right now. But I can see Belichick getting Coach of the Year.
We talked about this all week. Everybody do your job, okay?
I can see him getting Coach of the Year just because of the fact that he has to find a way to gel these rookies in with these veterans, and the way he's going to be able to do it with the expectations that everyone else has for them right now, for him to exceed that by a lot. Than what everyone thinks they're gonna probably finish last in the division. That's a lot of people are picking, and I'm like, last in the division. I'm like, do you? All right, cool. They haven't finished last in the division in years since what, like 2000, I believe it was the last time. I think that we're only second to like the Steelers, I believe. I think the Steelers' last time of being last in the division was like 1998, I believe it was.
Mhm.
When with Bubby Brister, I think it was. So I think it was Bubby Brister, the quarterback. But anyway, and the last time we were there was 2000. So we're second to only the Steelers as far as falling last. So you really think we're going to finish last in the division? Nah, it's not going to happen. All right. So I can see them. I can see those two awards I can possibly see.
Okay, Teddy, you see anybody in your team that can win an award?
Um, Not any players because I feel like we're just gonna collectively play well, and definitely exceed expectations. So I'm gonna agree with Tony and say Belichick gets Coach of the Year.
Okay. Okay. Well, I definitely appreciate you guys